Hey everyone, Andeng here for another episode of the Epic Story. When we last left off, we finished off the final part of the Pelennor Fields battle and had some really sad stuff happen. If you've not seen that episode, highly recommend going back and checking it out. But this episode, it is now here in after battle Minas Tirith. We can see the city is fine, and somehow almost all the bodies are gone from Pelennor Fields. I still don't understand why they didn't fill this field with bodies. I really wish they did. I'm sure there's some performance issue or just lack of time or something like that, but I really wish they had, because it would have been pretty cool.
Aragorn wishes to call a council of the captains
in order to determine what to do next. But many of those he desires to have voices are elsewhere on the field or in the city. Dervin of the north and Elfhelm of Rohan are not far to the southwest, if you can hasten their return to the pavilion. I met Legolas, the elf, on my way here, and I understand he is a friend of yours, and was a companion of Mithrandir in the north. He spoke fair words to me, and I marvelled that his journey brought him to these lands during time of war. Aragorn will want to be present as well, and also his friend the dwarf. I did not catch his name, but it seemed to me that the elf and dwarf were bounded as friends, and you might not find one without the other. This is unusual of itself, but these are strange times, and we may well find our strongest friendships where we least expect them. Alright, it's time to go talk to Elfhelm. Elfhelm and Dervin are deep in conversation, but they look up as you approach.
I am happy you survived. So many of our friends did not.
Well, I'm glad you're happy I survived. Thank you for that, buddy. Loyal Halbarad, weary Goldir, young Calerant. I feel their loss keenly. 8 of my brothers fell upon the Pelennor in service to Aragorn. But if they had the choice of fighting for him once again, you would find 8 minds unchanged. I will continue on to his pavilion, Stafdeng. No matter his command, I will see it done.
The battle is ended. It was a victory hard bought.
And many good men fell upon this field, and will not return to their homes. Alas for Elfmar, alas for my son. As much of the Elfward as remains mourns for him, and I weep with them. This man Dervin was a companion of mighty Golodir, who slew the Orlog Thorgrath, though he died in the doing. We have been sharing tales of our fallen. It has eased my sorrow somewhat, though it cannot erase it. His people appear stern and grim at first, but I have marked that they speak warmly of their friends and the lands from which they hail. Perhaps they are not so very different from the men of the Mark as I supposed. I will seek for more of the leaders of my people, and go to the Ranger's Pavilion at once. Alright, we now need to just find Legolas and Gimli, and who knows what else, and then we'll be on our way, hopefully. Legolas and Gimli smile warmly at your approach.
We have been to see Merry, where he lies in the houses of healing.
And I am pleased to report that he will survive his wounds. We spoke with him for a time and rested upon the wall. He is weary, but the worst seems to be behind him. Have you taken the opportunity to explore the city, Stafdeng? Oh yes, with many quests. It is impressive, but there are not enough gardens here, and the folk suffer for the lack. They need more that is green and growing. If Aragorn does claim his crown, my people will bring him birds to sing, and trees to thrive, and this will be a better city for their presence. We are on our way back to Aragorn's pavilion. I am eager to learn what he chooses for his next course. Okay, so apparently Legolas is going to be taking up the Park and Recs division for the rebuilding of Minas Tirith and Middle Earth. Good to know. Good to know, Legolas.
My axe has not yet had its fill.
Now that the battle is done, I have taken a good look at the stonework of the city. Some of it is finely made, but there is plenty of careless stonework as well. And I see much that might be improved in the layout of the streets. Do not mistake me. Any dwarf would see the same. Where should we go next? My axe has not yet had its fill, and I will wield it on behalf of Aragorn, wherever he deems it most needed. Alright, time to go back and talk with Aragorn, and learn of what must be done.
The battle is won, but time is short.
Thank you, Staffdang. The battle is won, but time is short.
Some things that were kept secret must now be revealed.
A decision made without all of the information is undermined even as it is made, Staffdang. When we meet in council, some things that were kept secret must be revealed, if we are to properly weigh our choices. I hope you will think no less of me for keeping these secrets, my friend. You are a good friend and true, and if I kept you in the dark, I did so only because at the time I thought it was needed. Speak to me when you are ready to meet.
It is time to decide our course.
Let's go.
Aragorn has called for a council to determine his next course of action. May wisdom guide his steps.
This way, Staffdang, I think they will start soon. It all depends on when you right-click on Aragorn. That will start the quest. The captains who fought on Pelennor are here now, Staffdang, and it is time to begin. Greetings, my lords and friends, captains of the soldiers assembled on the Pelennor. We have won a great battle, but now we have a choice to make. Much rests upon our decision. Of what decision do you speak, Aragorn? Mithrandir will explain it to us all, that we may choose aright. Alright, so Gandalf is now going from not saying anything through the whole battle and, staying very much just in presence and, helping people that way, to now coming up with the whole game plan, as he usually does. You remember the words of Denethor, Staffdang. In them I think there is much we might learn. Yes, the Steward of Gondor had much to say about the dangers that threaten us. He claimed that victory on the Pelennor might last for an hour or a day, but that we could not hope for a lasting victory against the power that rules in Mordor. Denethor fell into despair at the sight of Sauron's armies in the depths of the Seeing Stone. We must not despair as he did, though it took all our strength to fight back the first assault. The next assault will be greater than the last, sooner or later. One will come we have not the power to defend. Denethor was right. Strength of arms will not bring us victory. What then can we do, Mithrandir? If we cannot achieve victory, would you advise us to hide behind the walls, enduring siege after siege, until we can last no longer? You would have us retreat to Minas Tirith, or Dol Amroth, or Dunharrow, and wait for the end? I will not play like a child with a sandcastle, waiting in fear as the tide comes in. Yes, this is exactly what all of Gondor did during the days of Denethor. Watching, waiting, doing nothing. Do not misunderstand me. I still hope for victory, but not through battle. Into this debate must come the Ring of Power, for it is central to the matter. You know enough of this thing to understand our danger, my lords. If Sauron regains the ring that he lost, his victory will be complete. Your valorous deeds will come to naught, but if the ring is destroyed, his fall will be swift and total. The great evil of this world will be gone. Sauron will be no more. Sauron knows all this. He knows that the ring he lost has been found again, but he knows not where it is now. His greatest fear is that we have found it, for there are those among us with the strength to wield it. Am I right to think you revealed yourself to him, Aragorn? Yes, my friend. Before I rode from the Hornburg, I deemed the time was right to use the Stone of Orthanc. Sauron's Seeing Stone. I believed that the stone had come into my possession for this very purpose. 10 days had passed since the ring-bearer went east from Rauros. I thought it would be meet to draw Sauron's gaze to me, and away from his own lands. Had I known how swift would be his response, perhaps I should have waited. And yet that swiftness proved an error. He did not crush Gondor with that first throw. Aye, that is so. You say it is hopeless for us to attack Sauron if he has the ring. But why should he not feel the same if he thinks we have it? There are some considerations that may slow his hand. The ring can only be wielded by one, rather than by many. Sauron will expect a struggle among those who seek to wield it. He waits until one among us seeks to become greater than the others. And that is when he will act, seizing the advantage of our disarray. His Nazgûl still fly overhead, seeking for signs of our movement. He has not forgotten the sword of Elendil, and now he has seen it reforged. His first assault was turned back, and his greatest champion slain. The winds of fortune have begun to blow in our favor. For the first time, doubt has begun to gnaw at Sauron. We do not have the ring. Through either wisdom or folly, it has been sent away to be destroyed, lest it destroy us. Without it, we cannot defeat Sauron by force. This, then, is my counsel. We keep Sauron's eye fixed upon us, and blind to his true peril. We march out to meet him, making ourselves the bait. He will see this as a prideful action of a new Lord of the Ring. He will empty his land seeking to destroy this young upstart and take it back, giving Frodo the chance. Stealing the punchline like always, Legolas. It's a trap, not for us, but for the Dark Lord. Yes, Legolas. Legolas is right. We seek to capture Sauron's attention and keep it fastened upon us for as long as we can. But do not misunderstand. If we march to the Black Gate, there will be nothing to keep him from sending the considerable forces within Mordor to crush us completely and without mercy. We will buy time for the Ring-Bearer to complete his mission, but there will be no more time for us. Any who go with me on this last march should know he goes to his death. There will likely be no returning from this. Still, I consider it my duty to try. I do not claim to command any man in this. Let each make his choice as he will. We came from Imladris with this purpose. We will not turn back. I do not know much of these dealings, but I know this. My friend Aragorn aided my people when they had need. I will now aid him. Aragorn is my king, whether he claims it or no. His wish is a command to me. But the city must not be undefended behind us. We do not need a great force to march on the Black Gate. This is not an army with designs on victory. We will determine the numbers we bring east and the numbers we leave behind. May this be the right choice, Stafteng. I would rather die doing my part to bring about a new age than to do nothing and know the new age will never come. We must determine the numbers we need. There is work still to do before we set forth. Oh man, such an awesome meeting. And just devastating that they find out what they have to do and what lies before them.
This is not the easy decision, but I think it is the right one.
We cannot defeat Sauron in battle, but we must draw his gaze and keep it upon us for as long as we can. All our hopes lie now on Frodo and Sam, and we must do what we can to aid them from afar.
So it is decided.
For better or ill, the men I sent marching through Larsenach from Peligir have drawn nigh the city. So too have the men I commanded to follow the corsair ships in smaller watercraft up the Anduin. They loiter now, waiting for orders. Let us give them direction, and hope they make good of their word when they find that direction is east, toward the shadow. Take this call for soldiers and read it to heralds on the field and throughout the first circle of the city. The heralds will bring its message to the waiting soldiers, and buoy the number of men that will march with us. Alright, well that does bring this episode to a close. When we return, we will go throughout Minas Tirith and the plains of the Pelennor, summoning the army for Aragorn. But that is not till next time. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give a like down below, and I will see you again real soon for another episode of The Epic Story.